Good morning, Rise. Wait, what if Bernie Sanders was the Antichrist? I'd be willing to believe that conspiracy
I thought that's
theory.
who that was.
It was.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Petersen. It's Freedom Family Friday. That smoking hot redhead right there. It says, "Kiss me, I'm libertarian."
Available only at forlibertyshop.com.
Don't even think about it. Avoid at all costs, gentlemen.
We are talking about sloppy seconds today, aren't we?
Oh my God. No, stop. The sloppiest. It's going to be a great show. The Wake Up America show. It's Freedom Family Friday. And I'm told, a little bird told me, that Justin Petersen will be here today.
Yay! Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since we've all been together.
I need me some JP. Justin Petersen will be in his house at 8 a.m., but you're not going to get to see him, are you? You know why? They don't have a little red castle next to their name. Oh, some of them do have a little red castles.
Yeah.
B.H. Norris, Relaxing McGroin, Barney Styles.
Hi, Byron.
Heart of Erie needs one. Nelson needs one.
Nelson. Give Nelson one. He's been here forever.
Forgive Nelson. He knows not what he do. Nelson, good morning. Hi, everybody. Let's make today the day of gifting subs so we can all hang out with Justin at 8 a.m. Austin Pew Petersen. Damn right. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. We're going to have a fun time today. You're going to be in such a great mood. You're going to not even think about the fact that it's 49 degrees and raining outside in cold in Jefferson City, Missouri. Boo, 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 boo.
It's been wonderful these past 2 days. Hazel's been having the time of her life in her little plastic swimming pool.
Splish, splash, she was taking a bath.
Pool.
She's saying pool. I was like,
Pool.
Do you play? And she goes, play. And I go, in the pool. And she goes, pool, play in the pool. Yes, she does play in the pool.
No.
All the other kids with the pumped up kicks.
But it'll be cold for one day and then it'll go up again. This is just how Missouri is.
It's Missouri, and we know how it is. We're going to have a great show today. Dace Fan is with us, but we need to get him a castle next to his name. CHEF30 is... Good morning, feeling good, and we're all just going to goof around. Today, it's anarchy. We can talk about whatever we want. We've got some stories. We're definitely going to hit the story about the Tradwives and then that one chick whose husband blew her up on social media for not being pure before marriage, but in like the weirdest way. Like he was kind of praising her for it.
Oh, yeah. It was totally a cope.
So just wait. We'll get to the sloppy second story later. But if you want to see Justin, you got to have the castle next to your name. Austin, I barely figured out how to use Rumble. Now I need a castle next to my name. Don't worry. Be happy because somebody else can gift you a sub. You just need to drop a comment in the chat and say, hey, can somebody gift me a sub? And somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to do it.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to hang out because we paywall Justin. As part of our content creator program here on Rumble, we paywall Justin, and then we have Freedom Arcade tonight. So we do create exclusive content. Everything else is free to watch. You don't have to pay us a single red penny for any of the other content during the week, but we paywall a little bit so that we can meet the needs of the creator program, and it helps us to grow Rumble, and it builds our community. It helps us to find out who are really working in tandem to help us build the For Liberty Network. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows. Did you see how Mylene yesterday killed it on Cafecito Libre?
Yeah, she's been working so hard. She's been networking, talking to other Spanish-speaking people about how to grow.
Yes, so now she's got her technical flow figured out, and we are just closing in on putting together the coolest Liberty Network that's ever been built. I mean, we always thought we had to launch shows on the mainstream media and stuff in order to be relevant back in the day. I remember when I was trying to get Judge Napolitano his show on Fox, and he only had a podcast, and the idea was you want to go from the podcast to the mainstream media. But now the mainstream media comes to the podcasts. So I was reading this article this week about the industry, and it's like all these celebrities are all coming in, and of course they're eating up a lot of the advertising dollars. But that was the thrust of the
most
article.
celebrities have podcasts nowadays.
Yeah, but it used to be kind of a thing they would make fun of us for and be like, "Oh, you have a podcast, haha." But now they all want to be like the hot podcast on iTunes.
The cast of Boy Meets World,
Yeah,
all of those old celebrities, they now have a podcast.
The Office cast characters.
Oh, they have a podcast
Well,
too.
yeah, Angela and Pam, I think they do a podcast and stuff, and then they'll go out and they'll dominate the charts, right?
Yeah.
And it's just funny because fashion and what's cool, it can change in a second. I remember when Revenge of the Nerds came out in the 1980s. Anybody ever seen that movie, Revenge of the Nerds?
You showed it to me, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. That was it was like a sex comedy from college sex comedy.
Yeah.
And these nerds, they get all the girls at the end because they're smart and they outsmart the jocks. Because in the 80s, jock culture kind of ruled everything. And it was all about the jocks until computers started to dominate. And then once you were a computer whiz, I mean, if you were even halfway intelligent or, somewhat good looking as a guy, if you were a nerd, you got a girl because it became cool to be a nerd.
I was always attracted to the smart boys.
She liked the nerds.
Yeah, the guys that wore the glasses.
Yes.
I always liked them.
You like the nerds, the nerdy boys. Yeah, there's one out there for you guys. If you're alone, you can get a girl like Steffi.
Oh, for sure.
Steffi's hot. Steffi's sexy. Steffi and I are going to talk about sex before marriage. Yeah. It's going to be viral.
I'm an open book about it.
Oh, no.
I have no secrets.
It's very uncomfortable for all of us. And you get to watch. Yay. So if you want to stick around with us today and you want us to add another layer of uncomfort and watch me have this conversation with not only my freaking wife, with the world, but also with my freaking brother, then you better have the red castle next to your name is all I'm saying. So that's one of the last times I'm going to kind of beat that, all right, over your heads. I just want you to know that Justin's coming at 8 and I don't want anybody to miss out. So click the like button and support the For Liberty Network by visiting forlibertyshop.com and getting yourself some bonus content unlocked today. Let's do it. So
I've been adding so many new things to the shop
I know.
every single day. I added a whole new libertarian nationalist line yesterday that I sent out an email and text to everybody. Byron, you already got yourself some libertarian
people are going
nationalist
crazy
merch.
for the libertarian nationalism. We're having a whole event on April 30th in Manchester, New Hampshire. Jeremy Kaufman and I co-hosting an event. It's going to be off the chain. So if you're interested in these ideas, you want to learn more, make sure you send us a DM. If we haven't talked to you yet and you've been kind of lurking on the edge of the community, see that phone number in the bottom of the screen? You can text that in line, 573-319-1586. Reach out to us. Reach out and touch us and let us know what's on your mind, and I'll set you up with a call. All right, sound good? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sheryl Sandberg, remember that chick from Meta? She was the one that Mark Zuckerberg hired to take over and run Meta. Then she stepped back. So
I didn't know about it.
She was kind of she was the woman who like pioneered the whole lean in concept for women. It's the new 21st century feminism, maybe not fourth, but maybe even fifth wave feminism. This whole concept of you're a woman, lean in. Well, now she's taking aim at the online Tradwife trend. So she's arguing that the message is pushing women out of the message that pushing women out of the workforce is harmful, economically unrealistic, and rooted in what she calls old sexist ideas about women's roles. Even while she says women who can afford to stay home should be free to make that choice. So
okay. So she says you can do it. She just wouldn't recommend it. Is that what she's saying?
Well, Sandberg said the Tradwife message tells women that to be a good wife or mother, they need to do it full time. So she argued that, quote, almost no women can afford to make that choice in the current economy.
Sure.
She said most women need to work outside the home to support their families. Sandberg called the trend a reinforcement of very, very sexist and outdated ideas about women's roles. She also said that if a woman has the resources and wants to be a Tradwife, that's great. But the trend still risks limiting women's ambition. And the Tradwife trend grew from 2023 to 2024. So it is becoming a more popular thing. We are going to talk about it this morning if you're into that.
Oh, this is interesting. I've identified as a Tradwife before.
I mean, to some extent, but you have a work from home job.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So,
I'm in a very unique spot that most women probably can't even
We
achieve.
both are, and it's kind of a mistake to compare us to most people because here's the thing, and I'm not saying this to like talk down to anyone, but some of the women and men, the husband and wife duos, they may not know that for what they're paying for childcare and gas to take their kids to the centers or whatever, it may even be a difference where if she quit her job and worked from home full time and took care of the kids and did all the stuff for the family, it may be that, if she went to work, they might clear another $10,000 a year. And you have to ask yourself, is that really worth it? I mean, would you spend an extra $10,000 a year for the trade-off of being able to be home with your kids and take care of them, if that is in the calculation? And I suspect that for a significant portion, there's probably a percentage of the population that are in that situation and they don't even know that they're getting hosed.
For people who are making minimum wage, it probably wouldn't be worth it for them to send their kid to daycare and then for them to go to work. They might not break even or even come out ahead.
And they might not know that, but then they might be in a situation like yourself. They don't care and they want to work because they're afraid their husband might leave them and they would have no way of taking care of themselves, or their husband would have a heart attack or die. So there's serious questions and concerns, and you share those.
Oh, for sure. Are we on this topic now, or are we going to get to it?
this is the whole topic, kind of.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if we were talking about the other topics first.
No.
Okay.
Thanks for asking. No,
I didn't want to get off on a.
No, Colton and I are getting like a new flow with the thing. We can tangent. We're just gonna hit the Tradwife thing. We've got the Antichrist with Justin, and we've got 4 or 5 other topics. But we can talk about whatever we want. So
yes. So I work. I would say I work probably like part-time hours. I've set up my schedule to where I pretty much work when Hazel is sleeping. So in the morning time until 9 a.m. and then in the afternoon from about like 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., I'm able to do my work. And I mostly do like messaging with therapy clients, so they can't even hear what's going on in the house. And sure, I don't have to work technically, but I like to keep my skills good just in case something happens to you, right? Yeah. Because my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And when my parents got divorced, my mom was like, she has all these, old skills, but she didn't have any modern skills that she could do. And so she was lost. And she wished that she had kept, all of her certifications up that she had before she was married, so that she could make a living for herself. So she was kind of out of luck with that. So I'm like, I've learned from this, and I don't want that to happen to me.
Sandberg called the trend a reinforcement of very, very sexist and outdated ideas about women's roles. Is it not a woman's role to be a wife and mother anymore?
Oh, it is. I mean, seeing Hazel and how much she loves you, she's a daddy's girl. So it's like, I could definitely see where like she'd be totally fine with me going off to work and she'd love hanging out with you all day.
She would, yes. But
that's, a lot of kids aren't like that, where they're very attached to their moms.
Yeah.
I was very attached to my mom.
Yes. Well, dad's got a vibe, he's dad. Dad's a whole vibe, and it's like, I'm fun. Look at my shirt.
Well, we watch a lot of YouTube videos of like mom culture, and moms tend to get upset when their kids love the dad more.
Yes, they do. They do get upset.
And so I feel like moms want to feel needed in the home. They want to feel like they're the sole caregiver for their child. But I'm not jealous like that, so I don't care. So it's not important for me to be the only person that takes care of Hazel.
Yeah. Brad Beckman in the chat says, every time AP leaves the shoe closet, we hear, "Hi, Daddy."
Or even from the shoe closet, she's like waving at you behind her little gate.
Or I'll hear her all the way in her playroom just out of nowhere, "Daddy!" It's a lot of fun. And honestly, Brad and I were talking about that yesterday, that it's kind of like, it spurs me on when I'm back here when she does that. So it's like, if I feel like my energy is fading, like at the end of the day, and she goes, "Daddy," I'm like, must finish strong.
Yeah, I mean,
she gives me purpose. It's great.
Yeah, it's sure. I think women are better at certain things than men, or they like to do certain things more than men. It's It's a lot less work to clean the floor than it is to do what you do. I'll say that.
The problem with this is the double standard. And I mean, if you want to accept a double standard, then I mean, you're going to have to accept a big double standard when we start talking about sex before marriage. And just what that I'm going to say it's okay for men and not okay for women. Okay?
Right.
That's a double standard. The problem with the double standard when it comes to women's work or what is women's jobs is that nobody is going to argue about what a man's job is. Everybody knows what a man's job is. And men don't get the freedom that women have to just be like, oh, well, that's not women's work. I will do the cleaning or the dishes and all that kind of shit. You know what a man has to do? His fucking job.
Right.
Let me tell you something about a man's job. You want to talk about, well, I don't know what a woman's job is. A man's job will be to provide, to make himself useful. And if a man is not useful, then he is useless. And he will be judged as less in this world and the next, in some religions, in some places of the world. Does y'all get me? So nobody's wondering what a man's job is. It's to build every goddamn building that you've ever walked in. It's to maintain every air conditioning unit that is currently. It's to build every fan that's currently blowing on your faces and your lovely hair, ladies, your red hair. Let's turn the fan up and see if you can. Let's get your beautiful hair flowing.
Right. You always hear women in workplaces be like, oh, I wish I could be at home right now with my kids. If you heard a man sing that, oh, I wish I could be in my place at home with my kids right now, taking care of them. People would look down on the man and be like, what are you, a wuss?
Yes, exactly.
Like, what?
Exactly.
Why do you want to be in the home?
Exactly. So before we transition to this whole topic of the guy who's blowing up his wife for not being a virgin before marriage, before we get to that, let me just say that there's a double standard. Men build everything. Men put their bodies in the line. Men are being crushed. You know, there are men who are 400 feet down below the ocean's surface right now, currently welding an oil pipeline in the freezing cold waters of Norway while sharks circle over the top of him. Yeah. And there might be one female in there, but I promise you she's a butch lesbian.
Right.
And that doesn't count, ladies. That doesn't count.
She may procreate.
She may, but highly. So anyways, all that being said, that there's a double standard. Okay. So we're going to talk about that double standard. And now we're going to move to a situation where I think there's another double standard and finally one that works in men's favor. So this post was blowing up. Stephanie, I don't know if you actually, you may have seen it. You may have seen it first, but everybody.
And then Brian Piotr posted about his wife, Brian Piotr from Liberty Tonight from our network. He posted about his wife. His wife was pure when they got married. So that's a really cool situation.
Yes. So this post by Trevor Sheats, which makes me think it's fake because his last name is literally Sheats.
Oh, he's verified.
Yeah, I know, but doesn't mean it. Trevor Sheats posted, my wife was formerly promiscuous. I was a virgin. Oh, God, dude.
What does it mean for someone to be promiscuous if they've had like one partner or how many partners?
No, promiscuous means like you flit, from partner to partner. She was then radically born again, committed to church, evangelized constantly, Puritan books in her bedroom, prayer journals, grief over past sexual sin, etc. We got to know each other for well over a year, dated for 4 months, engaged for 2.5, and didn't sin sexually with one another.
Wow, 6 months of not sinning sexually. What a short relationship.
You're not thinking about that the way I'm thinking about it, because I'm thinking about it is that she gave it up to all these guys, but then made him wait. So we'll get to that. There's a lot of ways to look at this.
Because as a born-again woman, she is deserving.
This is going to be a good show today, guys. A good show. So Trevor Sheats writes that she's far more pure than most virgins. Oh my God. As biblical purity has less to do with past sins, though they certainly matter, and more to do with one's current posture of the heart and daily decisions to honor the Lord. Matthew 5:8. That's the New Testament, Stephanie, so not the Torah. That's the Christian one, okay? So Christian morality expanded on the Jewish faith. We're far too quick, he says, to forget the story of the woman labeled as a known, quote, sinner, likely a prostitute, Trevor says. In Luke 7:36-50, who was washing Jesus' feet with her tears while kissing them too. The Pharisees were shocked Jesus would let a public sinner do this. You're already nodding your head. It goes on and on and on. Here's the picture of him. Now, if I were gonna, I mean, God, you're gonna say something like that and post a picture like that. Look at her nose, Stephanie.
Yeah, I don't know where she's from, what ethnicity she is, but she is not pretty.
That is a very unfortunate nose.
She's not pretty. And I did say to you, I wonder if he's gay.
He's got this.
I do wonder.
No, honey. I mean, he's probably straight, but that's the soy face. That's the soy.
Yeah, he looks very beta.
He's got the soy.
He's got some feminine
See
qualities
his mouth
about
open.
him.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah. I mean, I bet he's a virgin. He was a virgin.
He was a
before
virgin.
marriage.
He
Yeah,
says,
there
my
you go.
wife was fairly promiscuous.
Yeah.
I was a virgin. And then he goes through this whole situation where he's explaining why she's more pure than most virgins. I was like, bro.
I don't understand why people feel the need to air out all of their personal stuff to the public. Like, nobody would know if she's a virgin or not if you just didn't talk about it.
I know, bro.
Who cares?
No.
Like, it's between you and your wife. You know, if you want to marry someone like that, that's your choice. Why do you need to make yourself feel better by posting Bible verses on the internet? I'm so annoyed with people posting all their personal information on the internet. This is not a diary.
Do you test drive a car before you drive it? Of course, says Drew Van Winkle.
I do think it was a good idea for us to live together before getting married. I'm not against that. I'm not against living together.
You're not against try it before you buy it?
Well, okay. So to be transparent, right? I was in a 14-year relationship before you. So obviously it's like, no, I was not a virgin, but that was my only relationship.
No!
Okay?
Stephanie, how could you say this in front of everyone?
Yeah.
You just doxed yourself just like this guy.
It's fine.
Now I'm cucked.
Right?
Everybody knows I've been cucked.
I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm not a slut because I was in a 14-year relationship. That doesn't make me a slut. It would make me a slut if I was sleeping around man after man after man.
Here's a fact that's not a literal fact, but this is directionally correct. You were basically a virgin when I met you.
Right.
When I say basically, I mean... And here's the double standard, right? Women are, men can be slut shamed too, but it's a different thing. It's a different way. But like women get slut shamed and men prefer to date virgins, 18 to 25-year-old virgins who have no tattoos and no other vices.
Right, and I have no tattoos.
Yeah. So the thing is that the thing that women want, like the expectations that women have are, like you talk about, unrealistic. I mean, I think that the expectations that men have towards women's, I mean, depending on your faith, if you're a super strong Christian man and you're, 19, 20 years old, maybe you're going to become a youth pastor or something, then, your expectations for your wife are going to be a whole lot different than someone like myself, perhaps more worldly, lived in a lot of places, travel around.
Well, to me, it would be like judging a woman. Like, let's say there was a woman who was a widow, right? And she was married, to one man her whole life, obviously lost her virginity to him. And then, her husband died. It's like, is she a slut because she was married and lost her husband and
Some
had
would say
sex
yes.
with it?
Some
It's
would
like,
say yes, actually.
so
and
some
weirdly.
people, it's like, can they really help it? I don't blame those people. Those people I don't judge.
It's hard to say. Yeah.
Because those people are truly committed. They're loyal. They were having sexual relations within, a very good, healthy relationship.
Here's the thing. If your story wasn't what it was, which is, basically, as pure as you can get for the 21st century standards, like as a man looking at that, I would never tell everyone that. I would never, if you had like this poor man, in some ways he's the arbiter of his own demise, but like if I was in his situation, I would never post something like that, Stephanie, because I know that it would bring shame to you and it would bring shame to both of us,
right?
And it's a weird position to be in because like their traditional morals, like as Christians, I mean, these are kind of like, I guess you might say, the people who really need Christianity. Am I right in some ways?
Well, and unfortunately,
Because
these are the people that are probably going to be promiscuous during marriage who may have affairs.
well, perhaps. I mean, I get the impression that, and it's only a guess from the photo and what he posted, that she's very highly unlikely she's going to be able to adhere to him for that. But I mean, the opposite is true. So for me, so I was, Genghis Khan, and
See, you're speaking about your personal.
yes, but I
the
don't think
thing is,
anybody would have thought Austin was a virgin. There's a way a man talks. There's a
well,
way.
I thought you were.
You
when
did?
I used to watch
Well,
you. Yeah.
that's because you were a virgin, basically, because you were naive. You thought that I was a sweet little country boy. Yeah.
As a politician, you're very pure and polished.
And then you met my girlfriends.
I did hang out with your girlfriends. Yes. I sat in the back of a car with one of them for over 6 hours.
You couldn't even understand her because she spoke British English.
Yeah. I realized that you both were incompatible right away.
But here's the thing. So if the double standard is that we, on the women's side, in the women's favor, is that we all have to get on board you all have to get on board the lifeboats in the Titanic, and then you get to go and, and we have to die on board the ship and go down, nearer my God to thee, while it plays in the violin in the background, and then we're rearranging deck chairs. If we have to die that way, then we get to have sex with a lot of you before we get married.
I mean, I will say it's
that's the trade-off. You want us to go down with the ship with the Titanic? Sorry, ladies, you're gonna have to give it up. I'm not dying a virgin.
Well, I will say it's a very romantic idea to be with a man who only has been with you and who only wants to be with you forever. Like, in a woman's mind, because of how our mind thinks, we're very committed. We want one man to love us forever. It's like an ideal situation to have a man that just wants us all the time, nobody else.
That women say that, and they say they kind of feel like they want that Disney princess strategy. But Stephanie, do you know there's a reason why I can rock your world?
You gotta have experience, right?
Stephanie, there's a reason why Stephanie gives me that face, that oh.
Yeah, that is the downside when you've only been with one partner, is that like you're both learning together and like that's all you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you really don't know if you're doing things right or not.
Well, and here's why, again, I can't really truly respect a man in a certain way. I mean, listen, I respect a good Christian man who finds one woman and settles down. We're going to talk about Brian Piotr in just a second. Finds his virgin wife. Good for you, okay?
And that's how I was when I was in high school. Like, my goal was to be a virgin and be with the person that I was going to marry. And that's what I was doing, obviously, but it didn't work out that way. And you were who I was meant to be with.
Yes.
But, in my mind, that's what I wanted. That's what I valued.
Well, here's the thing. I got it out of my system. Like, I have no desire to cheat on you. I am not curious about the secrets of the universe.
Right.
I've climbed the pyramid. I'm aware that you're all crazy. And now I know. And I found me a non-crazy one. I can respect the point of view of people who say, get married young, have kids young, but like I see a lot of people getting divorced. I see a lot of people making stupid decisions with
a lot of affairs
marry.
Happen.
I
see
really a lot of people having affairs, and then
Yeah.
I think about us, and we've got our perfect little backyard, and we've got our beautiful little red hair baby, and she's healthy and she's happy.
Well, again, if you're talking to people out there about fertility, they would say, we're at the end limits of fertility. We're really taking risks here.
Here's why this is important, though. Here's why this is very important, because experience does matter with this kind of thing. Because a lot of men, and I use the term men loosely, a lot of men and boys love to give advice about women. They love to talk about how to get women. They love to opine about women and women's rights and all this kind of thing. But if you're like Nick Fuentes, and you've never touched a woman, I don't want to hear your opinions about women. Right. But then alternatively, if you're Andrew Tate and you have no respect for women, I don't really want to hear your opinions about women. But like, there's like a third lane of men who know how a woman wants to be conquered. And a woman will say, I want this kind, good, sweet, good boy. But that's not what they really want. Most women, they're not like you. They're not looking for Prince Charming, Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid. They're looking for a man that's going to scare them a little bit and keep things, a little bit interesting. Maybe he's a little obnoxious, but like that tension keeps that sexual chemistry going. So she's always like, oh my God, I need to unwrap another layer of this onion and see what else is in there and inside this man. So in some sense, the man has to be the Russian doll. We're constantly uncovering some new layer of who we are. Well, it's because of competition. The fact is that familiarity breeds contempt, and especially in women. And the longer you're in a relationship with someone, the more contempted and contemptible you appear to your partner. And I had girlfriends that lasted 4 years, some maybe 5 years. There were longer term relationships. And I can say confidently that, maybe I'm a contemptible person. I don't think so. But, as things grow on, the woman loses respect for their man. It happens.
Well, we'll be going on 5 years this year.
Well, that's because you are a unique creature. And I married you for these traits, which are different from many modern women, right?
Yeah, long-term love is very different. I explain that to people often. People are looking for that spark, those butterflies. That's not long-term love.
Yes.
Long-term love is just like doing, anything to support your spouse, whether it's like a medical issue, struggle with your spouse. Like that is true love, when you're able to struggle and go through challenges with your partner.
It is. When you're more defined by your adversity than you are by like the good times that you spend together.
Yeah.
But that takes time to realize that thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of men, not to say that there aren't a lot of assholes out there, ladies, but I'm just saying a lot of men, because the way women hide their competition, and female evil is not as naked as male evil is, and male evil is so broad in front of us all the time. You look at the prisons, you look at the jails, you look at violent offenders.
Yeah.
Female evil lives among us. It's in society. Are there evil females who are in prison? Sure. But most of the time, women can skate. They can, the evil things that they do, that they perpetrate upon society, can be seen as something less than a crime, but still a form of abuse, no less. They commit acts of psychological abuse that you would never understand. And I think, it's possible that this woman, at least from first blush, is committing a form of psychological abuse upon this man. To some extent, and that she, this whole born again concept, it works for Christians,
right.
but for the rest of us who are looking on the outside looking in, it sure seems like a strange custom to some extent, to at least from the perspective of being a man, because as you see over here on the right hand side, here's Joshua Lysick, who says Christianity is for promiscuous women and virgin men. Nice marketing there. Kind of a good point. It's hard to respect men like that. I can't respect him because...
I just wonder who has the hang up here on the relationship. Is she the one who's focusing so much on her promiscuity and her born-again virginism, or is it him
hard to say.
Who's got the hang up? Like, who made him make that post?
Yeah.
Was it him who's lying awake at 2 a.m. thinking about these things?
Yes.
Or is it her who says, I need you to post this. I need you to share who I am with the world. Be proud of me.
Yeah.
Is it her lack of self-esteem that made him do that?
Yeah. It's the view on the wedding night. The picture, here we go. The view on the wedding night.
Oh, gosh.
So, of course, the internet turns this into the biggest meme.
I mean, that looks like a good deli sandwich.
Oh, God, Stephanie,
Is that
no.
pastrami?
Stephanie!
I mean, I'd love to go to Katz's Deli.
Stephanie, stop
I
it.
would.
How about this one? I'm finally done whoring around, Trevor. No! Run, Forrest, run. She's got the HIV. Jen, I'm not a smart man, but I know what HIV is. Stephanie, it's bad, and it goes from bad to worse. There's so many articles. They're writing Substacks about it. We all have baggage. Chris Hohenholtz is in there.
It's because this is digging at people's self-esteem.
Yes.
When they hear that another woman was promiscuous, they're like, oh my gosh, I was promiscuous too.
Here's Chris Hohenholtz. No person ever enters into marriage pure. Cope. Every person brings the lasting effects of sin into this holy union. Christians must show wisdom and remember the transforming power of the gospel when seeking a spouse. Link below. Chris, shut up. It's no offense, guys. This is not an attack on your religion. It's why people leave the church. Everybody's talking about this post. So another Christian guy who remained chaste until marriage ended up marrying a ran-through prostitute, and is now spreading her testimony all over Twitter while trad Christian women applaud like seals and tell Christian men this is good and pure and perfect. Exactly. Stephanie, I saw Allie Beth Stuckey. She's like queen Christian conservative woman who's like, I applaud you.
Oh, I mean, what do you do with the women that truly do have a change of heart? And they're like, you know what? I screwed up.
You do the one thing that wars will be fought over, that every woman. What do we do? What do you do as a woman who
question. Truly regrets her past actions and she's like, gosh, I was stupid.
I'm about to make everybody very angry. Okay, Are you guys ready? Here we go. You know what they call these women in China? If you're over 30, you know what they call over 30 women in China?
Oh, I forget the term.
You know what they call them?
I don't remember.
Leftover women.
Leftover women.
Yeah,
right.
They call those leftover women.
Yeah. So a woman who's made mistakes as a young person needs to just struggle forever and never.
All of Western society is aimed at not having women be put into that situation. All of the Western society, that's all it is. And part of the Eastern society to some extent, although it's less matriarchal in some ways. But here in the West, where we live under a matriarchy, women have ordered society to steal resources from men through redistribution and government, right? The government has replaced the husband in the American society. And now everything in society is structured at replacing the job of a husband, of a provider, such that you are strong, independent women who don't need no man. But I say we cut you all off. I say that you are all off of the welfare programs. Every single mom on welfare with 9 kids is off of the dole.
Yeah, like you never hear about welfare dads.
Exactly.
You don't hear about
that. Because we got to have a job.
Right.
That's the double standard. So I would cut all you ladies off of every public diamond. And that you hear this. If you were to say this in a microphone in like a Walmart or something like that, you would be strung up and hung, drawn and quarter, and your balls cut off. And it would be the cucks. There would be the cuck men that would do it because their wives would be like, get him, stop him, shut him up. We need the government to be our husbands and daddies.
Right.
And so this culture, this cuck culture, I will call it, this cuck culture is endemic. And it's all because it's women who are using their evil, that they're capable of, not the criminal evil that puts them in jails, like men who get in criminal evil jails. But the female evil is this feminism that forces women out of the homes, out of the positions of mothers, and what puts them in a position. This Sheryl Sandberg lady, this is to bring this all around. This whole Tradwife culture, right, that they're opposing is because they want you out into the workplace. They want you paying taxes. Right? They want to make sure that the middle class is paying plenty of taxes, and two taxable incomes, right? They don't want you in the homes and taking care of your kids. They don't want you to know the economics, that it might just be better for you to do all this, these Sheryl Sandbergs and shit. They want you to lean in. They want you to get rid of the man in your life. They want you to have they want you to look at us as expendable. And we are. Men are expendable in the United States. We are the expendable gender. And so, we can have our lives thrown away for the Secret Service. You get to vote. Double standards. You don't have to sign up for the Secret Service. To exercise your franchise, Stephanie, that women fought for in this country, temperance, votes. Equality for you would be a step down.
No, for sure.
Equality, we're not equal. You're above us in this culture and society. And everything is ordered towards making sure that there are no leftover women, because leftover women can always go on the dole. Does it sound like I'm a misogynist or that I hate women, or just that I've called out our cucked culture?
No, I think you're just speaking reality truths.
No lies detected. AP spitting, saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Women are terrible to their husbands when they're not working enough. Like I've heard women withhold sex from their husbands, and they resent them. If their husband's not a good enough provider. Imagine if a husband was withholding certain things from, his wife because she wasn't performing enough in the household. Like she'd be like, oh my God, how could you treat me like this? This is abuse. This is emotional abuse. Exactly. Yeah. But yet women can treat their husbands like crap all day long.
Yeah, they can treat their husbands like crap. We can be emotionally, psychologically abused and then discarded if we're deemed to be useless, and then bled dry for the rest of our lives through, at least to some point. There has been a little bit of a turnaround on some alimony cases. Some of my favorite YouTubes are these women crying to their lawyers because they have these high-powered jobs and they never expected that they were going to ever have to like support their husbands and pay alimony to their husbands and pay child support.
Yeah.
And there's been these deadbeat mom trends where they've gone out and started like, skipping out on child support payments for the mom. These are the Sheryl Sandbergs, the lean in. You better make a lot of money, ladies. And they do, thankfully. Women make more money than men in the same situation, apples to apples comparisons. Women are getting more jobs. You're getting higher education. And you know what, ladies? It's time to start paying up. Start paying them taxes. Start paying what we've been paying.
Yeah, I mean, I just think about in terms of what to teach Hazel in terms of, her womanly role, her values.
Oh, it is
in
a
the
challenge.
future.
Oh my God, I struggle with that.
I would hope for her that she gets to work if she wants to, and she gets to be a housewife if she wants to. I mean, I think wanting both of those things, if you can make it work, is fine.
You know how you always say, Austin, I think you said it the other day in the car, you leaned over, you go, Austin, it's amazing about you is you always chase your dreams.
Oh yeah, I did.
What did I say in response?
Because we were listening to the country song, you got a chance, take it while you got a chance. You guys probably know that if you like country music. And so I said, yeah, like you really go for your dreams. And you really chase your dreams.
And what did I respond with?
Because you have to.
No, I said, yeah, I said something effective. I didn't know there was something else I was supposed to be doing.
Right. But I was saying, like, I talked to so many people who they're too afraid to trace their dreams. They're just stuck in the situation they're in.
If we really love Hazel and we want her to be happy, and our dreams are not going to be her dreams, but my dream for her would be to have the same agency that you and I have. So if I can teach Hazel how to start an online business, how to build a customer base, how to build a subscription model for some maybe makeup or clothing or hair or whatever she wants. Like you used to have your earring business,
yeah,
right?
I used to have a jewelry business.
If we were to teach her how to like professionalize that and be able to run that from wherever she wants, then she can have a serious income that is her own income that's tied to her, but that doesn't tie her to a workplace, to an office, so that she's a boss. Or that she has to like feel like she needs to go be a boss babe for somebody else. And here's the thing, there's this concept of submission, husband and wives and things. Women will tell you all the time things like, oh, I won't listen to you. I don't have to do what he says, but they'll sure as hell do what their boss says. And that's a man.
Oh, of course.
They'll listen to every word that he has to say.
Yeah.
But they won't listen to their husbands. Right. So I want to teach her how to be a good wife. I want to teach her, like, here's, if she loves her dad so much, what is it that her dad saw in her, her mother, that was so valuable that a man of, I would say a man of quality, because I don't think sexuality before marriage as a man defines us for our qualities so much. I think it's opposite for men and women than how it's looked at. So for men, we're looked at as like conquerors. Because it's harder for men to get girls. And so but it's the opposite is true for women. Women can be with anybody that they want. So how do you get a man of quality who has character, who understands women to at least a certain, understanding women, of course, you have to say that, meaning you understand the limits of your knowledge of women, because they're mysterious creatures.
Right.
You're all like a horoscope. You're something to everybody and nothing to anyone.
Yeah.
So I would want her to have the ability to be a great wife, to work from home, stay at home, be like you, be able to work from home, stay at home, run your own business, have your own life, not be accountable to anybody but your family if you don't have to, because that's true freedom. Isn't it what we have, Stephanie? And I don't want to brag, but like, isn't what we really have like the most ideal you could ever have? Like two parents in the home with the kids all day, working from home, making it on our own.
Right.
Like every day that we are able to keep the lights on, pay the bills, eat, have a life is a victory.
Oh yeah. Because I remember when I used to work for a hospital system, I would be like, how can I ever like go travel the world? I only have so many vacation days. You can't do that with a normal job. But us, we can work on the go. Wherever we are, we can still do our jobs.
10 minutes till Justin Petersen joins us live on the Wake Up America show.
We've really been chatting up a storm, haven't we?
And we've got a nice audience. Fridays are usually a little lower, but we've got 112 people watching us live. Good morning, everybody.
They like to talk about promiscuity.
Well, we're talking about sex today, and we're talking about marriage. We're talking about our personal stuff.
Well, that's the thing, too, that I
sure
wonder about for Hazel.
Going on.
What values do we instill in her in terms of, sex before marriage, right? Because, I know a lot of schools nowadays, they say abstinence. That's the practice that they preach. But it's is abstinence really realistic with the society?
I know that this doesn't make sense, that this morality would make no sense to some people. But if we had a boy next, I would I would tell them about sex before marriage. And then I would say what the dangers are and that it's more dangerous for women than it is for boys. We don't sort of explain it, I think, differently to the genders in some ways, because there's this push towards, what do you call it? Gender neutral.
Right. I'm trying to remember. I think sex ed was done separately. I think girls went in one room and boys went in another in school.
Not in ours.
I can't remember.
Mine was co-ed. We had sex ed class and it was co-ed. There were boys and girls in the same class.
Part of it could have been co-ed.
Yeah. I remember this. And I think that's probably a mistake. It probably should be separate. They may have had one section where they went and it was separate with girls, but one day or something like that. But I remember the classes specifically being co-ed because it was so uncomfortable. But
in school, all they tell you about is STDs. Don't have sex, you can get STDs. Well, there's a lot more. There's a lot more emotional stuff.
Well, that's the job for the church, right? So the church is usually, which means it's going to be our job to explain this morality to her. So it's tough because I identify deeply with Ayn Rand, but I don't necessarily think that it would be in Hazel's best interest to be a female character from an Ayn Rand novel, because they were generally promiscuous.
Yeah, Ayn Rand. And now Atlas Shrugged, that was a very promiscuous book.
Opposite as a man, I would probably say, son, before you get married, it's probably a good idea to sow your wild oats, to learn how women are so that you can find a good woman. Because when I talked about evil women earlier, you have to be able, women, they mask their evil. Yeah. And so in order to find out which women are evil and which women are not, sometimes unfortunately you have to get close to them, right? And then you have to be know when to hit and run. and then you have to know when to oh, this is a woman who I could build a long-term relationship with. You will see that because a chaotic woman who's like a tornado, she destroys everything in her path, right? And for some reason, everything that's going wrong, the only thing that she doesn't recognize is that it's her that's the connecting thread to all the things that are going wrong in her life. So a man has to be able to recognize that, and you don't know that, especially because our weakness is when we're so young, we're so stimulated sexually that we will take anything. We don't care if she's crazy because our hormones are going are bonkers, and so we can't see past a great ass and a nice set of boobs. So it's hard. It gets harder even when you get older, because sometimes you have more options. So there's this temptation, and when you become a man who is a quality, a lot of women are going to want you.
Yeah,
and that's an enviable position to be in as a man. That's power,
for sure, and
power is dangerous.
Yeah.
And power has to be held back. So I would teach a boy differently than I would teach a girl, but teach Hazel that her lack of promiscuity, her purity is her power. That is power. And it's whether you look at it as a negotiating power for being a future wife, but I think it is a huge amount of power, because if you're a woman in her early 20s who is virginal and maybe is not, Christian, probably mainstream, has an open mind, skeptical like us, trust me, she'll be in high demand for men who are good men of quality and character, who will see her for what she is. And I think we can explain that to her. We can explain that to her in a way that's reasonable and logical. That doesn't require us to resort to mysticism.
Yeah. At the same time, it's I want her to feel comfortable talking to us. If she was, let's say, in a long-term relationship, let's say she does have a high school sweetheart. I remember I felt weird talking to, my mom about that kind of stuff. So it's I had to kind of figure it all out on my own. So I would want her to feel comfortable, asking me questions if she does have any, just so that she doesn't have to sneak behind our back and figure it out herself and possibly not do things the safe way.
Now, Brian married a pure woman.
Yes.
The Bible says an excellent wife who can find. she is far more precious than jewels. Now, you see, this is the metaphysical way to do this, like what you and I are talking about her here. Proverbs 31:10. I met her at the very first day of freshman year of college. Brian says, I wasn't a Christian yet. She invited me to church. I told my buddies, if I ever get the chance, I'm marrying her. She had already decided no dating in college. She never put herself on the market.
Good for her. And we've talked about that too, that like women should just not date at all, not begin relationships at all in like their early 20s. And then when the man is ready to commit, usually that's around like your late 20s, early 30s, then start dating.
13 years and 5 kids later, I love her more than ever. In today's world, everything we did to guard her purity gets called extreme. It can be done, he says, and it's worth being that extreme. If repost it, absolutely, I did it, Brian. 22,000 views. Well done, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's like a lot of men would walk away if a woman says like, no, you know, I don't want to have sex with you.
Yeah, or I'm not even interested in dating.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of men would walk away. You would lose a lot of opportunities. Like me, you know, like if I were like really pure and I'm like, no, you know, I want to wait before marriage, whatever. Like with you, it's like, I could have lost you too, right?
Yes, but this is kind of embarrassing and like cringe to admit, but like, you know, there was a lot of competition for me. I'm not trying to.
So I think that's where a lot of women.
You're not supposed to say that kind of stuff as a man.
Well, I think a lot of women, we feel like we're letting a man down if we say no. True. And we feel like we're like missing an opportunity for a relationship if we say no. Mm-hmm. And so we feel like we have to say yes in order to make that relationship work. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the, you know, the tough spot that a lot of women are in.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I mean, the thing is, like, you know, John and Casey says, I would walk away, test drive the car before buying. Okay. Let's see what my big gay Republican brother has to say.
Well,
about
I know in the gay community, they typically test drive.
So, guys, here's what's going to happen. All right. I know I've got 101 people. I don't want to lose you guys. And I'm sorry that that I won't be able to include everyone when my brother comes in after the break to join and give his thoughts on this. I'm sure he's been listening. But we're also going to talk to him about the Antichrist, which, you know, good topic. If you don't have the little red castle next to your name, or if you're a Rumble Premium subscriber, if you're not a Rumble Premium subscriber, then the show's about to go through a paywall. So we don't want to lose you, but we do need to create our exclusive content. And Justin is just so damn good that we paywalled him. So don't be mad. But we're about to go to a commercial break. We haven't raised the bonus content yet, but a great way to unlock the bonus content is to gift people subs. So if you're feeling generous, like I saw Andy Opperman was, then gift subs for everybody and help everybody to get a red castle so that Justin can, everybody can watch Justin, who's coming up in less than 5 minutes. So Stephanie, we're going to go to our break. And when we get back, Justin Petersen joins us.
Where businesses never sleep, the technology still crashes. When technology turns criminal, they send up the signal. He's not a myth, and he's definitely not your nephew who knows computers. He installs, he protects, he backs it up, he keeps your business online and out of trouble. Managed IT, security, cloud, support that actually answers the phone. Layer 8 tech. When your network breaks, he wakes. Call Drew before your tech needs a rescue signal.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
if there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government. Get off my back. Get out of my pocket.